Ever felt like you and someone else were speaking completely different languages, even though you're both, using English? You say one thing, but their reaction, maybe just a subtle shift in how they're sitting, tells a totally different story. It's like there's this whole silent conversation happening underneath the words. And sometimes that unspoken dialogue, that's the one really in charge. Today, we're cracking the code of that other language, nonverbal communication. We're diving deep, really trying to understand and interpret these unspoken messages. We're drawing insights from how to understand body language and facial expressions over at Very Well Mind, and also nonverbal communication. Learn to encode and decode cues from Asana. Our mission with this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We want to help transform those sometimes confusing silent signals into a powerful tool for you, our listener. For better connection, deeper understanding of others, and maybe even yourself, and maybe getting clearer about expressing your own emotions and intentions too. So let's peel back the layers. Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. What exactly is nonverbal communication? At its core, it's basically transmitting messages or signals through a whole range of behaviors without using any words at all. Think about it. It's everything other than the actual spoken content. Your facial expressions, how you make eye contact or don't.
Right? Your body language, gestures, even the tone you use in your voice. And something we don't always think about, the personal space you keep around you. And what's really illuminating is just how much meaning these nonverbal cues actually carry in our daily lives. Often, they convey far more than the words alone.
That's the core of it, isn't it? The potential mismatch.
Exactly. Consider this. Nonverbal communication can either powerfully reinforce what you're saying verbally, make it stronger, or it can outright contradict it. And that's when you get that sense of different languages you mentioned, where the words say one thing, but the body tells a completely opposing story. It's incredibly powerful for expressing, genuine emotions and attitudes. It helps define relationships, even subtly establishes power dynamics. These silent cues also regulate conversations. They tell us when it's our turn to speak, or maybe when we should just listen.
Little traffic signals for talk.
Kind of. And of course, they form the bedrock of first impressions, those snap judgments we all make about people. A lot of that is nonverbal. And it's worth mentioning, our modern understanding here owes a lot to pioneers like anthropologist Edward T. Hall. His groundbreaking work on proxemics, that's the study of how humans use space and communication, was really foundational. It showed how our physical distance from others is deeply tied to our social interactions.
Wow, yeah. And when you start thinking about Hall's work on space, it really makes you consider how much information you're either picking up on or maybe completely missing every single day.
Yeah.
Paying attention to these signals genuinely helps you understand others, but also yourself, right?
Absolutely. It provides this unique window into how people might truly feel in a given situation, even when their words are carefully chosen to say something else entirely.
Okay, speaking of windows, let's turn our attention to the face. I mean, it's arguably the most expressive canvas we possess. It's truly incredible how much a person can convey with just a facial expression, signaling everything from happiness, sadness, anger, surprise.
Disgust, fear, confusion, excitement, desire, even contempt. It's a whole emotional palette.
And what's often most telling, I think, is that facial expressions can frequently reveal those true feelings, even if our words are trying to paint a different picture. Like you might say, "Oh, I'm perfectly fine," but your face is just screaming anxiety.
Right. And this is where it gets really fascinating.
Yeah.
Think about trust. There was an older study that actually pinpointed a very specific facial expression as the most trustworthy. It involved a slight raise of the eyebrows combined with a slight smile.
Huh. Why that combination?
Well, the researchers suggested this particular mix effectively conveys both friendliness and confidence at the same time. Kind of approachable, but capable. And building on that, you have researcher Paul Ekman's work. He found really strong support for the universality of several basic facial expressions. Things like joy, anger, fear, surprise, sadness, suggesting they're understood across cultures, almost like a global emotional shorthand.
So those core emotions, they're pretty much universally legible. That's a powerful insight in itself. But here's something that genuinely surprised me from the research. Studies even suggest we judge people's intelligence based on their faces and expressions.
Get this, apparently, individuals with narrower faces and more prominent noses were perceived as more intelligent.
Seriously?
Yeah, and also those with smiling, joyful expressions compared to angry ones. It really makes you wonder how many subconscious judgments we're making every single day, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, diving deeper into the face, let's talk about what people often call the windows to the soul, the eyes. They reveal a tremendous amount about what a person is feeling or thinking.
For sure. Take eye gaze. Direct eye contact during a conversation usually signals interest and attention, right?
But there's a flip side.
Exactly, there's a fine line. Prolonged, unwavering eye contact can actually feel quite threatening or aggressive.
Mm.
Conversely, breaking eye contact frequently, looking away,
Mm.
that might signal distraction, discomfort, or maybe even an attempt to conceal feelings.
And it also fosters connection.
Yeah, interestingly, eye contact can actually increase pro-social behavior. It builds a sense of connection between people.
What about blinking? Is that a thing?
It is. Blinking offers subtle clues, too. Rapid blinking often indicates distress or discomfort, almost like the person's trying to process overwhelming information. On the other hand, infrequent blinking might suggest someone's intentionally trying to control their outward appearance. Think of a poker player concentrating hard, trying to appear unexcited by their hand.
Poker face, literally.
Pretty much. And then there's pupil size. This is a very subtle, often unconscious nonverbal signal. While light levels are the main driver, emotions can also cause small changes. Highly dilated eyes, for instance, can indicate deep interest or arousal, sometimes called bedroom eyes.
Okay, let's shift our gaze down a bit to the mouth. Mouth expressions, movements,
Yeah.
they're absolutely essential in reading body language. Like someone might chew on their bottom lip when they're feeling worried or anxious or insecure.
Yeah. Or covering the mouth. Sometimes it's just polite, when yawning or coughing. But other times, it can be a subconscious attempt to hide an emotional reaction, like trying to stifle a frown or maybe even a smirk.
And the smile, that's a big one.
Huge. But it's far more complex than it first appears.
Yeah.
A smile can be interpreted in so many ways, right? It could be genuinely happy, or it could express false happiness, sarcasm, maybe even deep cynicism. It's not always straightforward.
So many shades of smile.
Definitely. And beyond that, more specific signals include things like pursed lips, often conveying distaste, disapproval, or distrust. Lip biting frequently signals worry, anxiety, or stress. And even very subtle changes, like just the corners of the mouth being slightly turned up or down, can be telling indicators of a person's underlying mood.
Okay, moving beyond the face now. Our entire bodies are constantly communicating, often without us even realizing it. Gestures, for example. These are some of the most direct and obvious body language signals, waving goodbye, pointing, using fingers to count. Simple stuff.
Right, but here's a crucial point, one that can prevent major misunderstandings. Many gestures are profoundly culturally coded.
Ah, yes. The meaning can change dramatically.
Grammatically. Their meaning can differ so much across countries, turning what you think is an innocent signal into a massive faux pas, or worse.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Take the OK gesture, touching your thumb and index finger in a circle. In the US, many parts of the world it just means okay or all right, but use it in parts of Europe, it can mean zero or nothing. And in some South American countries, it's actually a vulgar gesture.
Wow.
And it's also unfortunately gained notoriety recently due to its problematic use by certain alt-right groups, adding another layer of complexity. Or consider the V sign. In many countries, palm facing out, it symbolizes peace or victory. But in the UK and Australia, if you show the back of your hand outward while making that sign, it becomes an offensive insult.
Good to know. So, understanding those nuances isn't just polite, it's pretty essential for effective communication across cultures.
Absolutely. Context and cultural intelligence are everything when it comes to gestures.
Okay, moving on to our arms and legs. They also convey a whole lot of nonverbal information about our feelings, don't they?
They really do. Crossed arms, for instance. That often indicates defensiveness, self-protection, maybe feeling closed off.
What about hands on hips?
That can project readiness and control. But depending on the context, it can also signal aggressiveness or confrontation, like squaring up and clasping the hands behind the back. That might indicate boredom, anxiety, or maybe even suppressed anger.
And what about those smaller movements, like fidgeting?
Yeah, rapidly tapping fingers or just generally fidgeting often signals boredom, impatience, or frustration. We've all seen it, probably done it.
Guilty.
And crossed legs can suggest feeling closed off or maybe needing privacy. It creates a barrier. We also use our limbs to take up space. Expanding arms widely might be an unconscious attempt to seem larger, more commanding, while keeping arms close to the body could be an effort to minimize oneself or withdraw from attention.
You know, I've definitely caught myself drumming my fingers when I'm bored in a long meeting. It's a real subconscious tell.
No, definitely. Then there's posture. This refers to how we hold our bodies, our overall physical form. And posture conveys a remarkable amount of information. How a person is feeling, hints about personality characteristics. Are they confident, open, feeling submissive?
Like sitting up straight.
Right. Sitting up straight, maybe leaning slightly forward, often indicates focus and attention. You're engaged. But if someone is hunched forward or slouched, it can imply boredom, indifference, or even a lack of confidence.
And there are types of posture.
Yeah, we can broadly categorize posture into two main types, which tell a powerful story. There's open posture. That's where the trunk of the body is open and exposed. It often signals friendliness, openness, a willingness to engage. Do you think arms uncrossed, maybe leaning slightly forward?
And the opposite.
Closed posture. This involves kind of hiding the trunk of the body, often by hunching forward, keeping arms and legs crossed. It can be a clear indicator of hostility, unfriendliness, or anxiety. It's like our body's creating a barrier.
It's incredible how much information we're constantly transmitting, isn't it? Even from these seemingly small or unconscious things. Okay, now let's explore some of the more invisible cues, starting with personal space. That concept anthropologist Edward T. Hall famously coined as proxemics.
Right. This refers to the psychological distance we maintain between ourselves and others as we interact. And it's a powerful nonverbal signal in itself. Hall actually described 4 distinct levels of social distance. Understanding them is pretty crucial for navigating interactions smoothly.
Okay, what are they?
First is intimate distance. This is roughly 6 to 18 inches, typically reserved for closer relationships, hugging, whispering, touching, very close. Then personal distance from about 1.5 to 4 feet, usually for family members or close friends. And closer proximity within this range suggests greater intimacy.
That makes sense.
Next is social distance, which is 4 to 12 feet. This is common with acquaintances. You might stand closer to a coworker in a casual chat than you would to, say, your postal delivery driver. And finally, public distance. That's 12 to 25 feet or more. Used in public speaking situations like teaching a class or giving a formal presentation. You need that separation.
And this varies culturally, too.
Hugely.